Carry that with you wherever you go. Thank you, my friend. From here on out, you're Big Boss.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 games that were amazing all the way up until their ending.
Life to the cause.
Those that try to harm us will suffer.
Number 10, Assassin's Creed 3.
They leave this behind.
Assassin's Creed 3 had so much going for it. An intriguing protagonist in Connor, the backdrop of the American Revolution, and some of the series' best mechanics. But just when it seemed like everything was building to an epic climax, the ending crashed harder than a Templar at a haystack convention. Desmond's story wrapped up in a convoluted mess that failed to satisfy fans who had followed his journey since the beginning. A sudden sacrifice to save the world felt rushed and lacked emotional weight. It's like Ubisoft pressed fast forward through the resolution, leaving players to wonder if their hard work was worth it. At least the naval combat was great. Maybe they should have let us just set sail into the sunset. Number 9, Far Cry 5.
The so-called apocalypse trample all over our town.
Far Cry 5 gave players a massive open playground filled with chaos, cults, and creative weaponry. The journey through Hope County was thrilling, and toppling Joseph Seed's Doomsday cult felt like the perfect goal. But then came the ending. Whether you chose to walk away or confront the father, both outcomes dropped an apocalyptic nuke on any sense of closure. The world-ending twist felt more like a cheap shock static than a satisfying conclusion. It's as if Ubisoft looked at the game-ending checklist and thought, explosions? Check. Player satisfaction? Not so much. At least the chaos was fun while it lasted.
There was silence in heaven. And the 7 angels before God were given 7 trumpets.
Number 8, Batman Arkham Knight.
Oracle, I need the location of Unit 247.
Already working on it.
Rocksteady's Arkham series set the gold standard for superhero games, and Arkham Knight delivered an impressive finale, up until its ending. While the gameplay was as polished as ever, the final moments left fans scratching their heads. The Nightfall Protocol was meant to be a dramatic send-off, but it relied on too many cryptic hints and lacked the emotional impact we'd hoped for.
Refusing to come.
And don't get us started on the Batmobile's excessive use throughout the game. It felt more like a car dealership's marketing campaign than a key element of the story. Rocksteady had a near-perfect trilogy on their hands, but the conclusion felt like Bruce Wayne forgetting where he parked. Number 7, Rage. Rage had plenty of potential with its unique post-apocalyptic world, satisfying combat, and cool vehicular action. But then came the ending, or rather the lack of one. The game's climax felt like it hit a brick wall. There's no final boss, no meaningful resolution, and the credits roll almost immediately after what should have been the big finale. It's like ordering a 5-course meal and being handed the check after the appetizer. Players were left wondering what happened to all the story threads the game teased. Rage might have delivered on gameplay, but its ending left everyone feeling like they'd been shortchanged in the apocalypse. Number 6, Prince of Persia: Warrior Within.
Then you know I have no choice.
There is always a choice, Kylina.
Warrior Within took the whimsical and lighthearted charm of Sands of Time and swapped it for a grim, edgy atmosphere. While the core gameplay remained engaging, the darker tone didn't land well with every fan. The ending, though, was the real head-scratcher. Depending on your choices, you'd either face an unresolved cliffhanger that demanded a sequel to make sense, or an abrupt conclusion that lacked impact. For many, it felt like the narrative abandoned its own potential, leaving key threads dangling. Fans of the series couldn't help but reflect on the shift in tone and how it undermined the cohesion of what had been a beloved and magical franchise.
But still I become the sands. There will be others like the Maharaja, braggarts and fools who will quest for the sands and find them.
Number 5, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
Made me
I'm going to use every advantage I have to stop them.
Deus Ex: Mankind Divided built an immersive world filled with political intrigue, complex characters, and thrilling stealth action gameplay. But after spending hours unraveling conspiracies, the game ended on a cliffhanger? The story felt incomplete, as if Square Enix ran out of time or budget and decided to slap a to-be-continued sticker on it.
I think it's high time we met the man behind the mask, Alex. Don't you?
Criminals may have achieved the impossible in Prague last week.
It's like binge-watching a series only to realize the season finale is a filler episode. Fans were understandably upset, as the game's unresolved threads left way too many questions unanswered. For a franchise that's all about choice and consequence, the lack of a real ending felt like a betrayal of everything the series stood for.
On a strong-arm Rucker into surrendering, it makes sense to use force.
Number 4. Bioshock.
Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
Bioshock stands as a masterpiece in world-building, atmosphere, and storytelling, with the iconic twist involving Andrew Ryan being one of gaming's finest moments. However, the ending failed to reach the same heights. Depending on your choices, you'd either see the good ending where the little sisters are rescued, or the bad ending where they're exploited.
And you refused it.
Unfortunately, both are overshadowed by a final boss fight against Fontaine that felt generic and disconnected from the narrative's intricate themes. The climactic battle lacked the ingenuity that defined the rest of the game, leaving players underwhelmed. For a title that redefined storytelling in games, its conclusion felt like a missed opportunity to truly make a lasting impression. Number 3. Fable 2.
I'm sorry.
Fable 2's whimsical world and charming characters made it a standout RPG for the Xbox 360, offering players a rich and engaging journey. However, when it came to the ending, much of the magic seemed to fizzle out. The final confrontation with Lucian was less of a climactic battle and more of a cutscene that required little effort.
The inevitable.
Oh, I thought it'd never shut up.
The resolution of the story, while attempting to focus on player choice, felt underwhelming, as none of the outcomes delivered a satisfying conclusion to the adventure. For many fans, it felt like the game's grand narrative fell short at the final hurdle. Despite its charm, Fable 2's ending left players longing for a more fulfilling conclusion. Number 2. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
You're not a kid anymore. You can call your own shots.
Hideo Kojima's final entry in the Metal Gear series was ambitious, sprawling, and packed with unforgettable moments, but it left many fans scratching their heads. The Phantom Pain's story felt unfinished, with major plot threads left unresolved and several characters vanishing without explanation. Episode 51, which was meant to tie up key storylines, was cut from the game and only released as concept footage, leaving the narrative incomplete. It felt like Kojima Productions created a masterpiece but neglected to include its final crucial piece. For a game that promised so much, the lack of closure in its ending was a significant letdown for the series' legacy. Despite its flaws though, the gameplay innovations remain a highlight for fans. Number 1. Mass Effect 3. Few games have sparked as much controversy over their endings as Mass Effect 3. After 2 games of making tough decisions and forging bonds with unforgettable characters, fans expected a payoff worthy of the galaxy-spanning epic. Instead, they got 3 color-coded endings that ignored most of their choices and reduced the fate of the universe to a binary choice.
The elusive man was right after all.
Yes, but he could never have taken control.
The outrage was so intense that BioWare released an extended cut to clarify things, but the damage was already done. It's like spending hours crafting the perfect space opera only for the finale to trip over its own ambition. Mass Effect 3 will always be remembered as a great game with an ending that left fans shouting, "I should go." Were there any games on this list whose endings disappointed the hell out of you? Let us know in the comments.
Take your friends, my child, and go.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring that bell to be notified about our latest videos.